The lights are so pretty when it gets dark. My name is Annette, sir. My mum, her name is Plaisance. She owns the store. She's inside minding the register or organising the stock. Feel free to step in and browse our wares. I'm signalling that the store is open. Otherwise people might not know. They'd miss out on the crime, romance and biographies of famous people. Oh no, sir. I'm happy to help Mum by luring in. I do my studies at home at the moment. I have to... Mum says it's necessary to do both.
There is stress and unease behind these words. She's reciting etiquette.
Mum says it's peachy. She was a little afraid at first. There's talk about this house being cursed in the way that makes them say that no business has ever really thrived here, sir. That they all go... I wouldn't really say it like that, but I guess so.
We can go into the bookstore and ask about the case, but I don't see much more to look into here.
Yes. Please do also look at our wares inside. The postcards and board games are there, sir. Nothing really, sir. Mum doesn't allow me to...
It does not manifest itself in any way. It does not exist. I liked it better when we were talking about whether it's appropriate to stand out in the freezing weather. No such thing.
Anything else you wanted to talk about, sir? Maybe I can tell you about some of our books instead. Crime fiction is about murders or burglaries or things like that, and the work of a policeman or a private detective who's trying to solve a crime and catch the criminals. And it's kind of like a puzzle too. You can guess... You don't look much like a policeman. Didn't mean to offend, sir. Sorry, sir. It's just that you don't look like Dick Mullen. Don't say that. He's not even real. You're real. Cheer up, sir. It's much easier being a fictional character. He doesn't have to deal with real things. Maybe you can show me some real deductive police work, sir. Like in the books.
The girl keeps her hands folded, hidden. Why is that?
What do you mean, sir?
She looks around and the lieutenant stands by, looking at the two of you with little interest. She brings out...
And you knew this from me keeping my hands folded? Well, that proves nothing. Anyone could do an easy deduction like that.
She nods, half provocative, half enthusiastic.
Maybe so, sir. Okay, I know it's a bad habit. It was...
There's more that can be achieved here. Ask her to do the same.
If you say so, sir. It's the type of book where there's a rich lady and she has to choose between the good man. Or there could be a story about a poor lady getting a rich man. It's about... It happens. Those are unhappy books for most of the pages. These are not very well, maybe then it's fine. That's really not in romance books, sir. I haven't read... I don't think it's a romance story if the main characters break... No, I don't know.
You can take this. Blossom like a pain flower. The girl is at a loss for words. She shifts and sways on her feet, looking confused and uncomfortable.
I'm sorry, sir. I don't know how to help you. Sir, sorry, sir. I'm still little. I can't... Maybe some about other books? Oh, kings and queens and generals of old. I think that's why people read them, to find the secrets of... I don't know.
They're all dogs.
Why would they do that, sir? That's so cool. Maybe they'll make you a book cover picture and everything. Standing over a dead body, holding a gun.
Yeah, that's kind of the only problem. Like, he's... he's very emotionally fragile, so I was just playing Resident Evil Village a little bit ago, actually.
striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Good evening, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM. Beaton, my maiden name.
I'm afraid my partner doesn't shake hands. Please don't take offense.
None taken, officer. Either way, I'm glad you're both... I was just...
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
It happens quicker than a shooting star. But did the lieutenant just wink at you?
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my... What we do. I'm afraid I don't... The pipe. And that is the terminal. Another... I'm not...
$1 billion?
And to think, there are years where... Walpines employs 72,000 people, all of whom have families that depend on their salary.
She nods.
Why, yes I am. The boat? It's a pleasure craft. A 19-pacer. My sloop? I like it a lot. It's the Eel's Hip.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
Fucking Kim.
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed... Yes, we are. We are on... We are. And I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Oh. Dig it, Kim.
It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol, between the city...
The Crown's
Officer,
qualified pleasure craft operator. So charming.
Why wouldn't it be? This is Revachol, Wayfair Act and all. Anyone can drive... Good. Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator.
And how are the talks going?
They're not.
Wait, she just admitted that the lynching and the strike are connected.
Now... Yes, Jean-Luc Measurehead. Yes, I believe there is a connection, but that's a subject for... Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't...
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens, no. Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator. Mr. Clara's work. There are leaflets everywhere, and every worker, a member of the board. In its defense, another said, demand democracy. Pretty tame stuff compared to... Fortunately, they explain... Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of... I'm not sure. And now...
Excuse me, from whom did you hear?
I first heard it...
This checks out.
The scabs.
Don't let her answer it herself.
If the workers were organized by Wild Pines, then it would be a company. Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first. Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
If you were to prick it with something sharp, you could see it oozing out. A knife, maybe? No, a rapier.
Oh, heavens no. We get along just fine. Yet, now that you mention it, I can't stop imagining that black treacle just dribbling down his double chin. He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more have you seen him? Edgar looks exactly like his brother. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little The Débardeurs Union organized labor...
A mob. The Débardeurs are...
Refreshingly honest, and your opinion, detective, if I may ask. I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is... Indeed. And a hungry one. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what... I'm glad you asked.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore. Or coming...
This forewoman, her name?
Sadly, the company records do not even give a name. Downright haunting. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help? Quite a few things. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi, and this is my colleague from Precinct 41, Detective Dubois. I'm afraid Harry doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
Oh, and what happened to yours, Detective? I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? Oh dear. I do believe you, naive.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCA.
Of course, I sympathize. But I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
Oh boy.
Feelings will guide the way.
I assure you, it is no small matter for me either. We all share the responsibility for disarming this situation. I hope you have a badge for me as soon as possible.
She's silent. The wind flaps the sail above her.
Officer. You know, I don't mean to sound cold, but if you want something, you have to give something back.
You're doing it. Despite your own best efforts, you're still getting in. Somehow.
I'll be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see some... The Union is conducting drug trade out of the harbor.
Oh,
it's
boy.
an open secret in Martinez. Surely it must not come as a complete surprise to the RCM either. Perhaps it's time to look into it.
Sorry guys, my dog is like super cute, and he was like scratching his ear. I was like, I'll scratch your ear for you, buddy. And now he's like looking up at me, all adoring, while he scratches his ear. Oh, now he's giving my arm kisses because I'm scratching him. Oh, good boy. I make with like all the baby talk and all that shit whenever my dog is involved. Oh, you're a good boy. He's a good boy. Yeah.
Or you can find your badge, which honestly...
Detective, a word in private before we continue. This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective. Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and, you know, not volunteer us to be her henchman. This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played straight into her hands. No, if there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we're siding with the Union, or that we're on their take. We'd never hear the end of it. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for her information on the lynching.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question. Better not tie the forestay to the backstay on this. You have.
Finally, time to choose sides.
Oh, come on now. He has his uses. How else would he have stayed in power all these years?
The position of my unusual colleague does not reflect official policy. I hope you understand. The RCM does not pick sides.
Of course. And I don't expect you to... How could I stop you? Are we not...
Tell her she'll like you for it.
A referral, you mean? I take it this was for someone in the RCM. Don't answer that.
The lieutenant does not say anything, but you hear the nylon of his jacket rustle as he looks at you.
That's good to hear, Detective. Please...
Frankly, what was done was not pretty at all, but neither was it illegal, and it was not for nothing. I advise you to be very selective with what information you choose to share. This may have consequences beyond our line of sight.
The company did not... I just hope you don't share Everart's view on things. After all, as he said, one's dead now. The Pine certainly hasn't killed any of theirs. I wouldn't have taken Everart for a saber rattler. Was he surrounded by Union men he wanted to impress? Or he wants you and me to believe he's calm and in control.
There's always that risk, man. But if I may offer my opinion, he means it.
I'll think it over, Detective. Thank you for relaying this information to me. What you've said is quite enough. You've given me a lot to consider, and may have helped me prevent this conflict from escalating. Sounds like he has you running errands, Detective. A well-established dominance ritual. Ah, yes. I've been meaning to go there.
With longing. Clear and simple longing. Strange. Why does she want to go there?
I choked on my spit. That's annoying.
I should be. In my youth, I had a brief dalliance here in Martinez. He's probably dead by now. Even if... Yes, I was slumming it with some girlfriends of mine. Not overly so. It's not like we told ourselves we were the worst thing to happen to the coast since the Coalition land. Yes. Full of ghosts and ancient memories. Has this... Of course, Detective. Should something come up later, down the road, don't be afraid to drop. Until then, is there anything I can help you with? This reality? Ah, yeah.
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well. He only needs a lowdown on all of...
We may be here a while then. Ask away, officer. We're in Martinez, baby. Martinez is... You would be excused for not knowing about it. I'm not a good This place used to be a province. A workers' resort. It's not really... Yes. We're on an Caillou, as you already...
It is clear this pebble is of enormous value to her.
Revachol, the great cat history detective. They built this... The nations of the Occident, in the DeLorean century. They say it's where... By that I mean, we are standing on a fertile, I think it's fair.
A sparkle of lights on the horizon, like evening stars above the curvature of the planet.
22 kilometers from the center.
Silence. She looked. The water, the light. It's as though you're seeing it for the first. There is no recognition. Only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it.
We are where we are. I have no truer answer to give, unfortunately.
This is one thought you need to complete.
Was there something else you wanted to know?
This has been informative. Might I suggest not asking them all right now?
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
It's better not to eat all your candy at once.
Indeed. I'm always at your service. Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to...
Ingredients for what?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL and various synthetic psychedelics. Yes.
Wildpine seems to be well appraised.
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. Yes, but you won't get anything out of the lorries. Someone needs... Perhaps you've noticed that...
Her irises are light green, like the river Esperance in bright daylight, upstream where it's...
I'll be explicit. If you find this driver... We did.
We know the company.
Well, here's your chance, officers. No. This is a limit. Thousands of...
Cold breath rushes in from the bay, making its way down the alleyways and potholed street.
A lot of it.
Well, at least this solves one mystery.
What is that, Lieutenant?
Why I had to call East Motor Tract and beg them to open a drawbridge for me. I'd wondered since I first drove in, on my motor carriage.
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them trapped. How do you think they're financing this strike?
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to bankruptcy to fund it.
With all due respect to these desert cat tuck, precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely, then loaded onto lorries and driven to the two.
Or not. Though, if you have evidence to the contrary, I'm
as eager as I am to share it, Lieutenant, once the job is done. Yes? Excellent. According to my reports, it may come to... In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance.
Is what you want to say, but it isn't that easy. What is this? An athletic challenge? Scream it from the top of your lungs immediately. Show that asshole. Look at that lady. Take a gander. Squint your eyes, bub. A well-kempt, yet tastefully short bob of dark hair. Despite the first hints of grey, she's elected to keep it au naturel, shaped into a permanent wave. Late 40s style. Positively statuesque. While dull orange pearls hang from her earlobes, red from the cold. Her light green eyes scan you, full of knowledge and worry. Wealth and all its possibilities. Now look at you. You misery-clad simian. Barely able to tie your own laces. Your armpits are lakes. A scythe of booze precedes you. Your hair sticks to your forehead and your underwear feels uncomfortable. You're poor. Poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money. You're too... Maybe you could ask her for some stock tips.
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask. Of course, Detective. Take care.
Whoa.
Wow, you work hard. Oh, yes, you hustle. You're a provider. It's tough out there, but you keep it real and provide. Oh yeah, like a horse, a workhorse, for hard work. Look at yourself. You're a human pedometer. You must have walked 200,000 steps down cracked asphalt, mosaic, sand, and linoleum after you re-emerged. That is the sign of a hustler who never gives up. The world is harsh and people are evil. You didn't make it that way, and you won't let it break you. You ride. That's just what it's like, life and death. But you got gills on your side, baby. Got those black papers with the faces of the innocents on them. You bring in the Franco Negros and the Solas. It ain't easy, but you do it. Day in and day out. You didn't make the rules, but you won't lose. You're a cop, and a sprinter, and a money printer. Sure. And has it been easy? Is life easy? Have you not gone into cardiac arrest? Are you not about to have an anxiety attack or shoot yourself in the mouth? But you still hustle 24/7, ride or die. Now, ask yourself, are you rich? Get out of here. You're a pauper. You work harder than anyone. Almost rode yourself to the grave, and you're still practically a hobo. Why is that? That's right, 100%. Fucking G-Man's got his jam-covered sticky fingers in your pocket, stealing from every time you wipe your ass. They got their direct and their indirect. 98% of all your money. What are you, a racist? Don't be a racist. Be a cool immigrant, ultra-liberal free market advocate. Ride or die. Keep it street. It's clear you like the hard stuff, Bruta. Lower intestine? The term is metabolic and circulatory system. Fascism, Bruta. You're going to keep your vooz, right? Keep your vooz, Bruta. There's a slow, painful growl somewhere in your intestines, knocking on your alcohol-engorged liver. It is one of betrayal and disappointment. Ace is low. For the rest of the world, the ace is low is just some cool Revachol thing, politically neutral. In Revachol, it still holds revolutionary connotations. Also, have you looked at Lieutenant Kitsuragi's clothes? He wears a bomber jacket, just like the ones worn by aerostatic brigades. And those cargo pants look like they could fit tools for hot fixing your burning aerostatic. You should ask him about this.
Yeah, it's really late, actually. In the game, not.
That sugary black rum stain on the counter makes you teary-eyed with joy. It's almost touching how syrupy and sticky it is. How long have you been up already? Oh, excuse me. Do you have something better to do than lust for sweet syrupy rum and lemonade? With a twist of lemon? Maybe lime. Maybe who cares? Just rum.
Can I help you? Thanks. I hope you found what you were looking for. How strange. I certainly didn't put them there. Sylvie had the keys before I got here, and I can vouch for her. I can vouch for all my stuff. None of us would tamper with the crime scene. The trash collection service? CS Municipal. I don't see why they would put anything in.
Ah, the elusive CS Municipal. I doubt we'll be able to track down who was sent here last and why.
On Clinton Street, near the Boogie Street Diamond, a small truck rattles down an alley.
Thank you anyway.
Yes. Another thing. Great. I love those. Yes.
You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimple lock. It's painted blue. The cobalt blue surface feels old cobalt paint, rough on the fingers. 40, 50 years since this was painted, maybe. The door does not budge. A challenge. The steel doesn't even tremble. Now you're hanging from the handle. The door remains immobile. Despair creeps into you, getting fat on your weakness. Whatever noble intentions you want, you're still coming up with sentences. That's a step up from total annihilation, right?
Yes, it can be difficult to be on the receiving end of so.
Nothing you can say. Cop gives up the detective genre for social realism.
All right. I'm going to hop off here, guys.